Okay, so we're on worksheet 1-2, problem number 17. We started it, didn't finish it. Okay, so, all right, so we had 6x3 squared, 6x3 squared over 2x squared to the third times 3x squared to the 0, we said. Okay, so this is where we kind of got sidetracked, which is fine. I thought it was a good discussion we had yesterday, even though it was frustrating. We don't need this right here because anything to the power of 0 is 1. And when you times by 1, you're not doing anything. So we just cross that off. You understand that? We don't need that right there. We're timesing by 1. Okay? So,
that's pretty easy.
Let's simplify the top. What's 6x cubed squared? Well, we square the 6. That's 36. And you guys remember, what are we doing? They have a power to a power?
You added.
Careful. When you times, you add. When you have a power to a power, you times. Okay? Then we take 2x squared cubed. So we take 2 cubed. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. And x squared cubed is x6. Okay. And we can simplify that. What goes into 36 and 8?
Wait, why did you cross off the other side?
Because it's raised to the power of 0.
Oh, okay.
And anything to the power of 0 is 1. And when you times by 1, you're not doing anything. Okay? So, what goes in 36 and 8? 4 does. 4 goes in 9 times. 4 goes in here 2 times. And where am I going to put my x's, on top or on bottom?
Nowhere.
Where?
Nowhere.
Nowhere. You put x's on. You put an x on top if there's more x's on top. Put an x on bottom if there's more x's on bottom. Where are there more, top or bottom?
Well, they're equal.
They're equal, so you don't put them anywhere.
Oh.
They cancel out.
True.
I still
Know what we're doing?
I wasn't here yesterday.
Yeah, but this is review from algebra 2. All we're doing is simplifying expressions.
Yes, too, and I was here yesterday.
I don't think you learned it the first time.
Oh.
Number 19.
That's pretty easy. You'll pick it up in like 10 minutes.
Well, students will, Zach won't.
Did you not read in the email he sent?
What?
That he
Yeah, wait, I never got any comments.
in class?
I miss all you guys except for Zach.
Literally every FST he took except Zach.
Yep. Okay.
I can't read your handwriting on my paper.
Huh? That's not bad. That's actually legit.
I thought the first U was an N.
Oh, yeah, my U does kind of look like an N.
You just gotta know.
I've drawn. My handwriting's looked a lot worse
My
than that.
V's have always looked like a U. I can't talk.
Okay, so this one's a real simple one. Start out timesing your coefficients. So we're going to get 3 times 4. We got 12. And when we times, and again, Shaylin already answered this, but I just want to make sure we're real clear on this. When we times, we do it with our exponents. Add them as long as the bases, what? Are the same. So can I add 7 and 3?
No.
Because those bases are different. So we take the U7 with U4 and get U11. And then V3, V negative 5, we times, so we add, we get V negative 2. We don't want negative exponents though, okay? So remember, we have negative exponents on top, you move them to the bottom. Negative exponent on the bottom, move it to the top. If you have a positive exponent, you leave it where it's at. So we leave that 12U to the 11 on top. On bottom, we're going to put, and when you move it, what happens to the exponent? If I put a V negative 2 to the bottom, it makes it, does it stay V negative 2? Makes it positive. Okay. If I move the U11 down, I could do that. What would happen if I put U11 down? It'd make it U negative 11, and we don't want negative exponents, okay? Okay, 21. Okay. I'm going to shut my mouth. I want you guys to try 21. 21 is just like the one we did a second ago, okay? Literally the problem we just did. So go ahead and try that one. 8x4, y negative 3 times a half, x negative 5, y 2. Go ahead and try that one, see what you guys get. And I don't want any negative exponents in your answer.
Can you move two negatives at the same time?
Sure.
I and it won't like mess up anything.
What you get?
I don't know if I want to say. I don't think it's right.
Is it,
4 over x.
It's
Where'd you, oh, well, careful, what's 4's exponent? You're close, what's 4's exponent? I don't see it, it's there though. The negative one's only on the x. If something doesn't have an exponent, it's an exponent, you just don't see it, it's a what? It's a 1. Don't move the 4. It's 4 to the 1, leave the 4 where it's at. The negative's only on the x.
Alright,
So,
alright. That's kind of what I thought.
4 over xy.
Should be 4 over xy.
Gosh darn it.
I am so confused.
Kind of.
Half of 8 is 4. When we times, we add, so 4 and negative 5 is negative 1. Times, add, y negative 1. And again, that's what I'm saying here. When you say 4x to the negative 1, the only thing to the negative 1 is x. Okay? If it was in parentheses, what would be the negative 1? The 4 or the x, or both? Both. But in this case, the only thing to that negative 1 is just the x. 4's exponent is a 1. So do I move the 4? No, because it's, what if there was a negative right here? Would I move the negative 4? You only move a negative exponent, okay? So leave the 4 where it's at. Move the x negative 1 down, move the y negative 1 down. Okay, so 4 over xy. So all we're doing is simplifying expressions.
Are we also doing this one around?
Now we'll do this one together. Okay, so we have 1/3 x4,
We'll have Zach explain on the board.
y negative 3, negative 2. Okay, let's clean this up, okay? So, what are we taking to the negative second power?
4 and
All of it. And how many things are in the parentheses? 3. What's the first thing? 1/3, x4, y negative 3. So, I'm going to write 1/3 to the negative, you're going to take each of these to the negative second. So 1 to the negative second over 3 to the negative second. What do we do when it's a power to a power? We multiply them. I would encourage this. Here's what I would do. There's too many people that are missing this. At the top of your paper, here's what I'd write down. x2, what is x2 times x3?
x6?
When it times, you add. Then I'd write x2 to the third. What's x2 to the third? x to the 6. If you can remember those two examples, it'll help you through this entire worksheet. When you times, you add. When you have a power to a power, you times them. I would jot those two examples at the very, very top. That's what I would do. Okay? You can remember those two examples, it'll help you quite a bit. So what's x4 to the negative second? X to the negative 8. Power to a power, we times them. And what's y to the negative third to the negative 2? Y to the 6th. Negative 3 times negative 2 is positive 6.
Both is right.
And when you have a bunch of garbage like this, here's what I would do. I would draw a fraction bar. Where are you going to put that 1 to the negative second?
On the bottom.
On the bottom. Where are you going to put that 1 or 3 to the negative second?
On the bottom.
What's that?
Underneath the 1.
Well, hang on a second.
No, you
Top.
flip it.
It's already on the bottom. So if it's a negative, again, think of it this way. If a negative's on top, exponent's on top, move to the bottom. Negative exponent on the bottom, put it at the top. What if it's a positive exponent?
Just don't move it.
Don't move it at all. So where am I going to put that 3 negative 2? On the top. Why? Right, because where's it at right now? It's on the bottom, so move it to the top.
Oh.
And it becomes 3 positive 2. Where am I going to put that x negative 8? On the bottom. Where am I going to put that y6? Keep it on top. Don't move it because it's a positive exponent. We like positive exponents. We don't like negative exponents.
So, something like that.
So we have 9y6.
what's going on.
1 squared is 1 times what x8 is x8.
It's been
like 5.
Remember what you said, if I can get it, you can.
not
Just simplify.
even.
Yeah, just simplifying expressions. That's all we're doing. Just a little more complicated than what you did in Algebra 2. 25. Okay, so we have 3y3, 4. Times 4y squared to the negative third. Okay, so take everything to the 4th power here. And again, how many things are in that first set of parentheses? 2, 3, and y3. Take 3 to the 4th. 3 to the 4th, and just do 3, that means 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Don't do this. Some students will go 9, and then they'll go times 3 is 27, they'll go 27 times 3.
What about do 9 times it?
Do what?
You gotta do 9 times.
What I'm saying is this, 3 to the 4th means 3 times 3 times, don't do this. Some students will say 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 3 is 27, and I don't know what 27 times 3 is. Do it this way. What's this? 9. What's this 9? Answer's 9 times 9, 81. That's what 27 times 3 is, but it's easier to do 9 times 9. So 81, y to the what?
12.
We have a power to a power 8 times, I'm going to write 4 to the negative third right now. I'm just going to write 4 to the negative third. Y to the what?
-6.
Let's draw a fraction bar. Where am I going to put that 81 at? Am I going to move it?
No.
What's its exponent?
Nothing.
It's something. It's a 1. Leave it where it's at. Am I going to move that y or not?
No.
Okay. Am I going to move that 4 to the negative third?
Yeah.
To the bottom, it's 4 to the third. Am I going to move that y negative 6?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So 81 and 4 to the third, 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. What can I say about the y? What are the 2 questions you have to ask yourself about the y's? First question is, where are there more? So I put a y on top. How many more?
6.
Let's put y 6. And be careful here. Some students will go crazy and they'll say, well, that simplifies to 9y to the 6th over 8. Any idea where they got 9/8 from? They saw 81/64, so they turned into 9/8. What'd you say? Square rooted. I've said for years, whatever you do at the top, you do at the bottom. It's got to be by timesing though. Square rooting the top and bottom doesn't work, okay? It doesn't work. It's not the same thing, okay? This does not simplify. Because if you could square root the top and the bottom, if I give you 1/4, take the square root of the top. 1. Take the square root of the bottom. A quarter is the same as a half?
No.
Mm-mm. Okay, don't square root the top and bottom. That changes things. Okay, a few more. I'll show you that one thing. It'll make you think a little bit.
Oh boy. You got this.
I like running my motors.
What is that?
Will still be your
I think I'm a 6-cylinder.
until he tries to break up the break.
You 2 are.
Until he tries to break our brain again.
My brain's already broken.
Okay. All right, so let's take everything to the negative 2nd power. So, we're going to take...
Is that an S or a 5?
It's supposed to be an S. I hate when you use S's. I don't care how careful I am, they always look like 5s.
I felt.
Okay, so let's take negative 2 to the negative 2nd.
Same thing as what I thought.
And this one's sort of a tricky one, okay? And right from the start right here, we need to talk about this. The way I just wrote it, what is to the negative 2nd power the way I've written it? The way I just wrote it. Just 2. Look back at the original problem. What's to the negative 2nd? 2 or negative 2? Negative 2. How do you know the negative 2 is to the negative 2nd, not just positive 2? It's in parentheses. You know what I really should do? I should still put parentheses around it. Otherwise, it's just 2 that's to the negative 2nd. Okay, r to the what? What's r to the 4th to the negative 2nd? Negative what? 8. And what's s to the negative 3rd to the negative 2nd? 6. Draw a fraction bar.
6 at the top, negative 2 to the 2nd, and then R to the 8th.
I missed all that what?
On the bottom is negative 2 to the 2nd.
Okay, now, I want to make sure we understand this also. When I move it, am I going to move this?
Yeah.
Why?
Because of the negative exponent.
Now, when I move it, the negative turns positive, right?
Yes, but just
Both
that-
negatives?
No.
Just the exponent. So it's going to be negative 2 to the positive 2nd. Am I going to move the r?
Yep.
Am I going to move the s?
Nope.
What's negative 2 in parentheses squared? 4 or negative 4, which is it? 4, r8. So s6 over 4r8. Bless you.
Thank you.
Okay, I tell you what, I'm not going to write the original problem down. You should be able to tell me at least, not in total simplified form yet. Here's what you should be able to tell me. You should be able to tell me don't worry about negative exponents yet. How is my, and this is one that you gotta know how to do. There's, on your next test that we take in 2 or 3 weeks, whenever it is, I don't know when it's gonna be. This is gonna be a type of question. You can't, this one shouldn't be that bad. How is your answer gonna start out on, don't worry about negative exponents yet. Negative exponents are okay so far. We're gonna change them at the end though, okay? What should your answer start off with on number 29? This is literally a 3rd grade problem right now.
X, oh, wait, after we're combine them?
Don't worry about negative exponents. How should this start out? What should your answer start out with?
20,
Where'd you get 20 from?
5 times 4.
That's the 3rd grade problem. 4 times 5, 20. It's gonna start with 20. Okay, I'm not saying you literally did this question in 3rd grade, but you did 4 times 5 in 3rd grade. Okay, what am I gonna put down for x's? Don't worry about negative exponents
X
yet.
negative 3, I have X to the negative 3rd.
Right, that's what you said the first time. Okay, and how about the y's?
Y to the, oh, it's just Y.
Y to the first or just y. Okay, now get rid of the negative exponents. Do I move the 20?
Nope.
Isn't the exponent negative 3?
No, it's only for the x.
Right, so leave 20 where it's at. What's gonna go on bottom?
X is the-
X third, what's also on top?
Y.
Y, 20y over x3. That one shouldn't be that bad. Okay, 31. What part of 31 am I gonna, I'm not gonna write part of it. There's one little part I'm gonna leave out.
That's so loud.
X 0.
What's x to the 0?
1.
And what happens when you times by 1? Stays the same. So I'm just gonna write y negative 3. Okay, you don't need that x 0, you don't even need it, okay? All right, so let's take everything to the 2nd power. Let's take this slow here. What's the first thing we're gonna take to the 2nd power? 3. And what's 3 to the 2nd power? 9. What's x5 to the 2nd? X what? 10. What's y4 to the 2nd? 8 over what's y to the negative 3rd to the 2nd? Y what?
6.
Careful,
Negative 6.
negative 6.
I love the hesitation because everyone thinks you're trying to trip them.
Okay, we're gonna move something?
Y, and that's it.
Which y?
The one on the bottom.
Bottom, so move it up top, turns into y what?
2. Or no,
Careful, 6.
But then you combine them.
So it's not gonna be 2,
It's 14.
it's 14. So your answer is 9x10, y14. Okay, a few more and then I'll show you that other thing. 33.
Just write it down and review it later.
Okay, so on this one you should pretty much be able to do, you can do most of it in your head. How's your answer gonna start off on number 33?
Oh, which one? 33?
Yep.
8.
8. Where'd you get 8 from?
4 times 2.
4 times 2. And then when we times, we add the exponents. Our exponents happen to be fractions. When you add fractions, you need a what?
You need to make into the square root thing.
Not yet. When no, you don't want to on this one. Just forget about all this complicated. When you add fractions, go back to middle school, you need what? Common denominator. Well, this one, we do.
4 over 2.
So 4 over 2, so 8a to the 4 halves. A simpler answer would be 8a what?
2.
4 divided by 2 is 2. That's an easy one. 4a squared. 35. Is that just as easy?
No,
Why?
because we have to do make
There's
the
different
fractions into
You gotta get a common denominator. Now, is my answer, can I start off by timesing 3 and 8 just like I did 4 and 2 on the other one?
Yes.
Sure, so my answer's gonna start off with 24. And what is our common denominator of 6 and 3? What do 6 and 3 both go into?
Well, we have to times both of them.
So x5 6. That one we're gonna leave alone. What's 2/3 is the same as how many sixths? 4 sixths. So when we times, we add our exponents. When you add fractions, do you add the tops and the bottoms when you add fractions? Just the what? It's 24x to the what?
10, 6.
How about 9/6?
Whoops. That doesn't count.
And I do want that simpler form though. What goes in 9 and 6? 3 goes in, 3 in, 2 times. 24x to the 3 halves power. And you could write it with a radical if you want, I don't care. I'm just gonna leave it like that. Actually, I tell you what, I don't care, but when you're in college, okay, look at the original problem. You actually have to look at the problem in order to answer this, okay? What do you think some college professors would require you to, what do you think they would want you to have? They want to have it a radical, would they rather have it like this? Or write it as the square root of x to the third? Which of those, for this particular problem, do you think they would prefer?
Fraction,
Fractions, why?
because it's in fraction.
It's fractions on the question, okay? If it was in radicals, they probably want you to answer in radicals, okay? I mean, it's kind of like saying this, true or false? A quarter plus a quarter equals 50 cents.
No,
Is that a true statement?
yeah.
But what do you think they should have? Not 0.50, but you probably should have what?
3/4 or 1/2.
I would say a half, yeah. Because if they ask you fractions, they probably want your answer in fractions. I don't care. But, you know, in college, sometimes they, you know, it would be better to do it the way the question was phrased. All right, 37. 27a6 to the negative 2/3. Okay. Hope this is still going. Yep, it is good. Okay, so we're going to take everything to the negative 2/3 power. So take 27 to the negative 2/3 power. And what's a to the 6 to the negative 2/3? When you do a power to a power, we times them. What's 6 times negative 2/3? Do I times the top and the bottom by 6? If I asked you 6 times negative 2/3, do I times the top and the bottom by 6? Just the top, because 6 is 6 over what? 1. Times the top by 6, you'd have a to the negative 12/3, which we're going to clean this up. So we have 27 to the negative 2/3, a to the negative 4th. All we've done so far is 6 times 2/3. Okay, I would encourage you to draw a fraction bar. What are we going to move, the 27 or the a? Both. So on bottom, we're going to have 27 to the 2/3, a to the, I got to have something on top. 1. Now, when I taught this in Algebra 2, and we didn't spend a whole lot of time on it because we got locked down right after I taught you this, if I asked you for 27 to 2/3, what is it? Very good, you don't know. So rewrite it, okay? If you don't know something, you know what 27 to 2/3 is? Rewrite it. If it's written with a radical, write it without a radical. If it's written without a radical, write it with a radical. So 27 to the 2/3. That's the same as the what root of what?
The
Square root or third root?
Third root.
Why? How do I know it's a third root?
Because the last one.
Last thing I wrote, first thing I write. Now this one you should know. I don't know what 27 squared is, but I do know the cube root of 27. It's not 9. What do you times by itself 3 times to get 27? Not 9. 3. What's 3 times 3 times 3? 3 times 3 is 9. Times 3 is 27. So this is the number 3 squared, which is 9. That's what you meant, right, Bigelow? You were a step ahead of us?
Honestly, I did this freshman year and I don't remember that well.
Cube root means what do you times by itself? Like the cube root of 8. What's the cube root of 8? What number do you times by itself 3 times to give you 8? Not what do you times by 3? 2. 2 times 2 times 2. Okay? Cube root of 1,000 is 10. 10 times 10 times 10. Okay, so this is 9, so your answer is 1 over 9a4.
Just right with you.
Okay. Okay, I'll tell you what, we'll stop here. And then I will, so what I'm going to do, I'm sorry, I'm going to go away. I want to show you guys something here. I don't think I've shown this to you before. Okay.